Wake up, Shinigami. You're chugging Bleach with the only podcast that unlocks your bunkai.
Welcome to Chugging Bleach, the Bleach Marathon podcast where we watch all of Bleach, even this bad movie. With me today, I have the usual Dan Video Games.
You know, I felt like I only spent enough time to swallow Bleach, but I still feel like I chugged a shitload of Bleach today.
That's fair. KZ Excellent from kzexcellent.com.
I'm remembering this movie and getting upset.
And Mr. Fields from Mr. Fields Wild Ride.
At least KZ will only be able to remember it for about 20 more minutes.
Thank God.
Oh man, is that how fast the summary's gonna go? I sure hope so.
Yeah, basically.
And of course, I'm your host, Bob Video Games. Before we get into this terrible movie, Neil, can you tell us about Patreon?
Well, if you'd like to get Chugging Bleach early, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/GBPodcast. You will also get benefits such as Mondo Cool, our Dragon Ball movie review podcast early, extended armchair dev pitches for our show Armchair Devs, which is supposed to be about making up video games, but tends to just be us killing each other. Cursed Content Club commentary tracks and Cursed Content by Committee, our Patreon exclusive Cursed Content show, and that also comes with a commentary track, and potentially many more benefits. That's patreon.com/GBPodcast.
Thank you, Phil. Now, Dan, can you tell me about what we watched?
We're mask off today.
I'm really glad that everyone got to experience Netflix's The Bleach movie, featuring characters. Wait, no. Featuring humans saying lines some of the time.
Hey, they're human.
That people in Bleach said.
Mildly matching the events, yes.
God, no. More like if someone watched 20 episodes of Bleach one night, got completely shit-faced, woke up hungover, and had to recap it to someone. That's how it feels.
Someone listened to our first 4 podcasts.
Yeah, this is
and made a film based on Dan's summaries.
They made a synopsis of the events based on comments in the comment section.
Yeah, that's more accurate.
This was something. I'm so glad I watched it dubbed.
I'm really impressed they made something that fails in every comprehensible way.
The only way in which this movie, which we need to recap, doesn't fail compared to the Rurouni Kenshin movie is the first Rurouni Kenshin movie is color graded and filmed like shit. Whereas this is unexciting from a cinematography angle, but doesn't have tons of digital noise all over the screen and the world's worst color grade.
Well, they need to make it golden, okay? I don't know why they need to make it golden, but they did.
They're shooting night for radioactive night.
Yes.
But yeah, let's talk about this movie and what it goes over. Within 5 minutes, Ichigo's mom is killed by the Grand Fisher in the intro.
I know you said that's what happened, I think, in an episode, but I still can't believe it.
I'm just really glad that you guys had to experience this right now, because this was my frame of reference for Bleach while we were going through it up until now.
I'm always
I was
just
terrified
stunned.
of where this would end.
Like, the casting choices for his mom and him are like, what happened? It's immediately just wrong.
It's fantastic. I don't know.
Casting choices for everyone.
Yeah, no, it's like, oh, there's Chad. He's so huge. He's the same height as Ichigo.
Well, yeah, there aren't any 7.5 foot tall half Japanese guys.
There's Chad, known for his eccentric wear, the same thing as everyone else.
Hey, he has a medallion. Thank you. A necklace he wears. That's it. That's all that's different.
It feels like they didn't even attempt to do any sort of a casting call for this. Like, we're looking for this build for this character. No.
KZ, this is cast exactly the way every single thing like it is cast. Every single anime live action adaptation that has a budget of roughly $2 million that Japan makes, which is like $47 a year. They're like, go get people from Kamen Rider and whoever is like the 3 prettiest guys from the latest Prince of Tennis stage play.
So
but I feel like Kamen Rider actors have more personality.
Yeah, I was gonna say, is Renji the Kamen Rider guy?
No, Ichigo and Ishida are both from the same one.
What?
Wow, that must have been a bad season.
No, it's actually one of the best seasons. They play characters the complete opposite of what they play in this movie. I have no idea why they have these roles.
Oh,
Hey,
All right.
So in the first 5 minutes, Ichigo's mom is killed by a hollow, the Grand Fisher, and then we smash cut to an intro that, guys, this movie intro looks like it's cut for a horror movie. I don't understand.
Yeah.
I was like, we're watching The Walking Dead.
Yeah, it seems like a horror movie intro crossed kind of with The Walking Dead or House of Cards. Like, it's really bizarre. Obviously, House of Cards, very different cinematography in that it's good. This used mostly CGI edited stock footage.
Yeah, it's that general style of TV intro.
Mm-hmm.
Andrew Kramer, thank you.
Bob, I asked you very nicely during us watching this to not compare this to Andrew Kramer because I did it once and I felt bad.
You're right.
I was like, Andrew Kramer's a great video effects guy. He did the intro to that first Star Trek Abrams film. Or was it the credit sequence? Which one did he do? I think he did the credit sequence.
Yeah, I think it was credits.
It was really stellar, though, unlike anything in this. So we come out of the intro, and I honestly am going to struggle to retell these events because they all happened so fast. We're introduced to 1 billion characters.
I tried to get this order down.
We're introduced to 1 billion characters in the classroom. Rukia is immediately in his bedroom.
Yeah, no, they have dinner, and then she's just there already.
Yeah.
Then she like puts one of the souls to rest, and it looks terrible.
And this is all within 5 minutes, and we already skipped the fucking ghost child.
Oh yeah, Jesus.
Yeah,
Chad shows up in that scene for no reason.
Something approaching hope in that initial scene where like Ichigo clotheslines a guy and they flip over and he kicks somebody in the side while they're sitting on their skateboard and they go spinning out into a trash can. And then the movie just instantly flatlines.
Yeah, it almost felt like it was going to become a cartoon live action movie, and I was getting excited.
Yeah, it had some real Kung Fu Hustle energy for a second.
Yeah, I need to double check the action director. I think it's somebody who worked on like Bayonetta and Devil May Cry stuff. I think it's that guy, but I'm not sure.
Which is funny because those things, since they're not live action, do big monster battle really well, which I think this just anytime it's not 2 people of the same size with somewhat equal armaments, it just falls apart.
Yeah.
Anyway, so mom dead, intro sequence, ghost child, school, Ichigo at home, doesn't want to eat, leaves the dinner table with his 2 poorly cast sisters who look almost identical.
The costume design is not here at all.
The costume design's just brain dead.
Yeah,
and then he goes to his room, and Rukia's already there, and she's owning a ghost, and she's using a binding spell on him and running into the living room, and then the Hollow's there. They run into the street. They start fighting the Hollow, as Rukia does for 1 second, and then gets owned. And then she's like, I need to turn you. I'm going to give you my power so you can become strong. And he's like, no, wait, my sister. Yes.
You're going slower than the movie.
No,
he is. Also, I need to add that like Ichigo's dad in the like it's not charming in live action when somebody comes up and puts their son in a chokehold and starts berating them for being late. It just seems like something police need to intervene in.
Like the performance isn't selling it. They didn't get the same guy back to in the dub.
Yeah, I was like, something about the energy this actor is giving off brought it from charming but, annoying dad to abusive drunk dad.
He does feel like he's just supposed to be a Yakuza in this, almost.
Yeah, which you don't really get that energy from the series. Anyway, so now Ichigo has those powers. He owns that hollow really fast. And then he wakes up and he was like, oh, it was all a dream. But then there's the hole in the side of his house. And then we cut to school. They're like, Ichigo's house was hit by a truck, and they're like, oh no, is he okay? And then his friend, who gets no characterization in this, he just gets to do this one bit 3 times. He goes, actually, Ichigo's dead.
I don't know. Keigo earns this role.
Oh,
Is that bad?
Oh my God, you're saying just boil him down to one line?
Yes.
I don't know, man. He's kind of a piece of shit in a way that makes you remember him. Like when he gets angry that other dude's going on vacation with 6 ladies.
Yeah.
He doesn't show any of that energy here. He just sits there and is like, Ichigo's dead. I'm going to lie about my friend being dead nonstop.
That's funny.
It's funny to me. So we're at the school. Ichigo shows up as he says he's dead. He's like, no, actually, I'm fine. And they're like, oh, Ichigo's fine. And then Rukia shows up, and Rukia says, if you make a scene, you're dead. Then they cut to the rooftop, and she explains Soul Reapers and how she can't go back because he took too much of her power. And then he's like, yeah, okay, give me back. I'll give you back the power. And she's like, oh, you're too weak. You can't do that.
That's a lot like the series, right?
Uh-huh. And then she goes, you have to train to get strong to give the power back. And that's half of this movie. We get a training montage,
Which he's in human form for most of it too.
Yes.
It's like, what's happening?
Dude, I don't know. There was a really good moment where towards the end of the movie, they're like, the Grand Fisher is the most powerful hollow you've ever faced, and Bob's like, you've seen too. And I'm like, yeah, this is a lot like you're gonna face the biggest Karen you've seen in the last 10 customers.
Okay.
So then we get training montages. How do you like the training montage, Bob?
It was so good. They shot balls at Ichigo.
I'm gonna be honest, I forgot entirely what it was.
So she's got an automatic ball pitcher, and she's just shooting baseballs at Ichigo.
Okay.
And there's a scene where they set up bottles on top of metal rods.
But that's not till late in the movie.
No, they set it up really early on, and it does nothing.
I thought that wasn't until halfway.
No, that's later. That's after he's like, okay, we're gonna do it.
The second
after
training
Renji kicks
montage
his
is
ass.
so identical to the first.
Yeah, no, it's weird. They just intercut
The first one is entirely just the pitching machine and Rukia beating the shit out of him with a wooden sword.
I think there was one or two others.
Would they think that means they're dating?
Yes.
Whoever did the choreography also doesn't seem to understand that sword fighting is different from kendo. But whatever.
It's fine.
I'm sure you're putting down those hollows by bonking them on the forehead.
Correct.
I'm sure they care that you got a point.
The hollows are really, really upset that Ichigo scored a point on them. Man, where do we even go from there, Bob? Do you remember?
Let's see.
I forget what happened next.
Because at that point, it's
2 hours ago.
I know. We just finished watching it. And
scene.
once it does the training montage.
Yeah, then we go to the Uraha shop.
Wait, we go to Urahara shop?
Yeah.
Oh my God. I thought there was a little bit of separation there. But yeah, no. It just cuts to Rukia and Urahara shop. And then he's like,
we were too cowardly to give you a flip phone.
we were too afraid to give you a flip phone. So here's this. Isn't it zany? It's an ancient jewel looking thing.
It's the Shikon Jewel Shark.
All I could think of, and these aren't they don't actually look similar. It just immediately appeared in my brain like an intrusive thought. Is just all the times in the first Iron Man movie they showed like the thing in his chest being turned and pulled out because they think it's cool. It's just like you're just jangling keys. Move on.
Okay, guys, I've now checked the timestamps on stuff. Okay.
I mean, after this, it goes, oh my God.
Okay, so here we go. By the end of 12 minutes, everything up into and including the hollow fight has concluded. I guess it's 13 minutes. So that's still a shitload of stuff crammed into that. On that rooftop, Rukia gives him the description of like hollows and good souls.
And then they pretend she has the thing she's drawing, but she doesn't.
Mm-hmm. It just cuts to
lazy.
a drawing, but then she doesn't have a drawing. Oh, man. Also, they wait until Rukia's in his closet to introduce her name. He calls her Soul Reaper, and then she's like, my name's Rukia Kuchiki.
Well, the weird thing is that's after they get her name in the
Yeah,
school.
that's after they
I
get her
know.
name in the classroom.
It's so bizarre because they have a title card thing. Also, since we were blazing through the beginning so fast, we forgot to mention, so there's that ghost in Ichigo's bedroom that she sends on to the Soul Society. She bonks it on the head, and it's the worst effect in the world as it evaporates into a bright light.
Mhm.
It looked really good.
No, it did.
Okay.
Nothing in this movie looks good.
The character
Oh,
titles
okay.
are insane. They are only there for Rukia and Ichigo.
Yes.
Why are they there?
I don't. They don't know either.
That's
so why are you
crazy.
asking me? Also, I forgot to note that she uses the open palm strike to knock his soul out of his body on that rooftop.
Yeah, she's got the glove. They didn't forget to get
Yeah.
one of those. They stopped at Hot Topic before they filmed the movie.
Whatever theme song they gave for Ichigo when he does cool things in quotes is I don't know what this is going on with that song where it's just a dude yelling, "Drink your milk."
Yeah, it's real bad. I think the song sounds kind of cool, but he's singing about drinking milk. It's awful.
You got to drink your milk. You become real strong, Bob.
I think it might be by the band. No, I'm trying to think if it's by the band where one of the actors was in it.
Oh my god.
Because Byakuya is a rock star. That's who his actor is.
Don't talk about him or his incredibly bad costume.
So I remembered why I couldn't remember the next point.
Yeah.
You ready for this shit?
I know what it is. I wrote it
30
down.
minutes into this movie, it snaps. 15 episodes into the anime, you get Ichigo on a street and Renji hunting him.
Yes.
And then a character they haven't introduced, Ishida, archering to protect Ichigo, a guy he hasn't even talked to.
And we find out he hates.
Yes, I guess. But yeah, Uryu Ishida protects him from Renji, even though he doesn't know either of them.
And then Renji just leaves.
And then Renji just leaves. Then we get a conversation between Rukia and Ichigo, and Ichigo's like, I've had it with this shit. Why are these people after me? And she's like, you have to train to get strong. And he's like, why should I care? And she doesn't say anything. And then she closes the door on her closet. And he's like, I'm done with this. And she goes, she thinks internally, voiced over, you have to train to get strong or you'll die.
We get to see that crazy version of the live action Soul Society for a shot.
One shot of the Soul Society landscape.
Yes.
Ichigo gets back to school. Uryu Ishida is introduced somewhat properly and starts rambling loudly in the middle of the classroom that Rukia is in a fake human body. Then he shows off his ring thing, which is very cool. And that was the moment at which I realized...
Ring fit?
Yeah. Yes, he shows off his ring fit. He shows off his cool archery ring thing. And I started cracking up because I realized I can't wait to record this episode of Chugging Bleach because these guys get to see what my introduction to Bleach was.
Oh man, it hurt.
It's so
It hurted.
insane. So Ichigo won't become a Soul Reaper to fight Ishida, so he crushes the coin that summons all the hollows on its rooftop 30 minutes into the movie. Rukia runs up and is like, oh, there are hollows, we gotta get to work. When Ichigo's fought one hollow ever, they're gonna go stop all the hollows. It's very smart. So she drags off Ichigo, leaving his unconscious body on the rooftop. Ishida just stares at them leaving and just goes, Yeah, no, Cone isn't in this at all. It's pretty fucking
They
weird.
didn't have money for that effect.
That's what I told Bob. I
Yeah.
was like, they're okay with introducing billions of characters if they aren't CG based.
It should have just been calling on doll on a string.
We then cut to the best example of any person with any amount of talent wouldn't have shot this way. We get a wide shot of the little boy ghost from earlier in the movie running, and it's supposed to be an action-packed scene of him trying to escape something, but it's shot so wide and lifelessly, it looks like him almost throwing a temper tantrum and running, because it's so slow, and he doesn't have any, perception on his face that he's terrified. He just looks up, sees Ichigo, and just keeps running. Like his mom called him or something. And then he turns a 180 and a giant spider monster hollow crawls over a building. So for those keeping track, I think we're now at, what is this, episode 14, Bob? Where we're at the playground.
This might be like 12 or 13. I can't remember.
So we've jumped to this boy ghost is being attacked by a hollow that was summoned by the crushed coin thing.
Wait, this is a mix of the or episode like 3 or 2 and episode 15.
Correct.
God.
So Ichigo starts fighting the hollow while the soundtrack tells you to drink your milk. And once he defeats him, Renji shows up to be really cool. Just the coolest.
Are you
dude.
sure?
Oh yeah, he owns Ichigo in like 3 hits, and it's very well choreographed and very neat.
Okay, cool.
And then there's a scene.
I can't remember it, so I'll believe you.
Yep. This was the worst, Dan, where me and Phil were watching it, I assume at the same time. And then you go, right as I'm about to finish, yeah, we're just getting started. And then me and Phil just react to you with the dinosaur stabbing the other dinosaur.
Now, is it did Ishida's goal change in the second half of this movie for no reason?
I think I forgot about him during some of this movie.
Because in the anime, he just wants to own Ichigo and prove Ichigo's a little bitch.
Yeah.
In this, he says he wants to kill him, making the hollow bait utterly pointless, other than that it happened in the show.
Yeah, that's my read.
Yeah, no, they had no idea what they were doing with any of these characters.
So then Rukia's brother shows up.
Of course.
And he's like, you need to get your powers back from him, kill the human, and then we'll go face your trial. Or whatever. I'll take you to the Soul Society for your punishment. They negotiate, maybe, please don't. That would be bad. I don't want him to die. And then her brother's like, you don't get a choice. You need to kill him and get your powers back so we can take you to get punished. Do this by the full moon. And then just leave.
Well, I guess we better check fucking weather.com to find out when that is.
And do that. Take out the big bad hollow.
It's so insane. And then Ishida's just watching the whole time looking like a bitter cuck. He's just like, how come I don't get to have cool battles? I don't know. Something about the energy he gives, because there's so many scenes in this of him barely behind an object just staring.
It's just like, this is my episode. What happened?
We then get to the rooftop. Rukia explains, if I don't heal your body before your soul before you go back into your body, both your body and soul will die. So she starts lubing him up.
Yeah, what? Also, I think the chains for humans, like all of that, that's too much expensive. They can't do it.
Yeah.
It's too expensive to attach a piece of chain link to a person's chest.
The movie thinks you forgot about his mother dying, so we get another flashback to that. Only this time you get to see the blood on her. Ooh. And then Ichigo wakes up in bed, and his dad's like, "Oh, you're awake. One of your classmates brought you home. Dur dur dur, her dur dur."
The absolute worst looking like claw effect I've ever seen.
Yes,
it is really bad. We got that great scene again where his classmate and friend, Dip Shit, says he's dead. Then we get the weirdest part of this movie's universe. This isn't a reference to anything in the anime, but they go to a place called Rob's Burgers. And I'm just losing it because I'm like, that has to be a reference to Bob's Burgers. Why else would you name it that? Who thought to do this?
No, I think that's just a Japanese chain.
Oh God,
is it really?
Oh my God.
Or one specific thing, I think.
Because I'm losing it. Because this is the place to be in this movie. All the kids come here all the time. So if you're ever looking for anyone, just run there and they'll be there.
Yes.
We get some dialogue. It doesn't really matter. Chad's there. It really doesn't matter.
This movie doesn't matter.
That's true. Rukia is under a bridge in Moody. It cuts to a full moon. Ichigo talks to his closet, and this is when I remember that we're not getting Kon. He's just not showing up at all. We flash back to earlier in the movie. This movie has a huge propensity to do this. He's thinking about Rukia and him fighting the hollow at the very beginning. And then he realizes Rukia isn't in his closet. He's been talking to nothing. So he runs to Rob's Burgers to ask Ishida where Rukia is.
This movie's so bad.
They should have cast Ishida as being like really overweight. So it's like, yeah, the guy likes hamburgers.
It's good,
like, oh,
dude.
no.
That would be
That would have
fucking
been such
great.
an improvement.
You'd been like, man, at least they threw away his original character, but at least now he has a new character trait. He clearly loves food.
Yes, so deep.
So he's like, okay, I can't tell you where the Soul Society entrance is for you to find Rukia, because that's clearly where she went, and I assume this based on not really knowing any of what's going on. But anyway, I know where Urahara's shop is.
Couldn't you have introduced the ribbons to maybe give it anything?
So Ichigo then runs to Urahara's shop, and then Urahara's like, oh, their favorite portal's right around here. So then we cut to an alley they've stuck a door in.
Did they even put a door? I don't remember a
There's
door.
like a door behind them. There's like a wall behind them. It looks like it could be a gate, but it's not like a cool like shrine gate. It's just someone's house. The fencing on someone's house. It's so Ruki is there. She's kneeling. She's like, take me back, or whatever the fuck she actually says. It doesn't actually make sense, so it doesn't fucking matter. Ichigo arrives and he's like, I'll kill the Grand Fisher and prove to you something.
And it's what you want, right? And they're like, I guess, I think, maybe.
Ichigo tricks them by making them forget what this movie's about.
You see, I've lost track of this movie entirely. I thought the last scene where they talked about a full moon was this scene. So I feel like I'm just looping forever.
No, and that's the movie. The movie
Right?
is looping because they show the full moon right before this scene.
And now we get a second training montage, right?
So many parts of this movie have Rukia's brother look directly at her, and I'm losing it. I'm like, man, you couldn't even get that right.
No, that's hard. That requires any sort of direction and maybe reading the original.
I was like 30 minutes into this movie, and I moused over and went, oh my god, this is almost 2 hours. What do you mean?
So we cut to another training montage. This one has the glass bottles. This one has Ichigo dragging a tire that Rukia is sitting on reading manga. This one has him batting off baseballs again. And then
this time he's actually hitting them. Before he was dodging them.
Yeah.
It's real different.
Very different. We cut to Rob's Burgers where the kids are always hanging out. And one of them's
talking
like,
about Rob's Burgers.
I wish the movie would stop showing Rob's Burgers.
God, if it's just an ad placement, that's hilarious.
Oh, it's unreal if it is. So we cut there, and they're like, hey, I heard Ichigo's training with Rukia. Oh, what?
What are you doing?
That's how the movie went. That was a verbatim line.
I'm a ghost.
The screenwriter's like, I'm a screenwriter.
No,
You
he's
can't
not.
prove I'm not.
So then, in the biggest form of whiplash ever, he's like, who's this Grand Fisher? And they're like, oh, it's the biggest dick motherfucker around. He's been on Earth for like 51 years. He's a real badass. And then he's like, oh, okay, how long has it been here? Probably since you've been a kid. He killed my mom.
Yeah, it was impossible to be able to figure this shit out.
Graham Fisher's apparently a little girl in this.
Yes, they were like, what was he? In the weirdest turn ever, Ichigo just goes, what was he before he was a giant demon monster? And they go, he was the spirit of a little girl. And that's how he figures it out, because only one little girl spirit exists. The one that
Fucking
killed his
really
mom.
stupid.
It is unbelievably
What was
stupid.
wrong with just he has a lore, that's why his name is fucking Fisher.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ugh.
Look, they didn't want to do it as a lure because they just wanted to have the bait stand on the ground and not even have to CG anything attached between the two of them. So
Getting
Ichigo,
wires out there is too expensive.
it's too expensive. Ichigo's training with Rukia. Chad and Orihime are watching. Orihime's casting is really bad, but that doesn't matter. Most people are terrible. Urahara shows up, and Urahara goes, he's training for a battle, a big battle. It might be too big for him to handle, but even still, he trains. And then we have more training montage.
For a second, I thought they were going to like speed run his friends getting their powers for 30-second scenes.
Right.
Thank God they didn't do that.
Then Uruhara wanders off and lays back down on the street side. Wraps himself in newspaper.
We have a really weird scene, which I think is here to explain why the bad guys signed up for this plan that makes no sense. Renji walks up to Byakuya, and he goes, he's probably not going to kill the Grand Fisher. He'll probably die. Byakuya goes, he's just bait to lure the Grand Fisher. And then they're like, this is a smart plan then. We both agree. And that's the scene.
We've agreed to the terms of this movie. Now let's go.
I think I'm going insane.
There's also the fact that his mom is attached to the Grand Fisher. It's vaguely referenced here, and it's so dumb. In yet another whiplash, they are now planning on the exact day they're supposed to fight this monster a trip to his mom's grave because it's the anniversary of her death. Because in the anime, that's where they found Grand Fisher naturally.
Yep.
They have to stick to the anime script.
Yeah, they need to just mush all these plot points together into one, like, fucking mashed potato of a fucking script. So we cut to the mountain trail. They're walking up it, they're having difficulty walking. The dad's like, here, let me help. He grabs a really light bag. The other daughter is really upset that he grabbed the light one. Everyone hates their dad. Their dad outpaces them and starts getting shit-faced on their mom's grave while he drinks Asahi dry. This is very classy, man. We immediately cut to Ichigo's sisters finding the little girl spirit standing on the mountain trail, and it's crying while in a key light. This is a really good. This is a really good moment because Grand Fisher shows up, so they're fighting Grand Fisher. Ichigo sees the little girl bait and just goes, oh my god, that's the same little girl when my mother died, and he starts fighting these really bad CGI tentacles. Like, absolutely terrible. He's just swinging at nothing. The choreography here sucks ass. Then he gets really close to the little girl spirit lure, and then it becomes his mom. And then he flashbacks to his mom when she died on the riverside, because that's the ultimate simulation. That's where you want to be to lure him into a sense of safety. And then after Ichigo snaps out of it, thanks to Rukia, the mask on the hollow appears, and then they just like run off. Like Ichigo and the hollow just like start fighting and sort of like run away. And this is when the movie truly gets crackheaded. Right after my favorite scene in the movie. Ichigo's dad starts walking up. He enters the same key light with fog going through it that the little girl was in. Rukia points her hands at him to make him fall asleep. The problem was they didn't get him to fall over fast enough in the takes, so then the video skips a whole second or two to have him fall over.
I missed this.
Because Rukia's spell is to speed up time and make someone pass out.
I like that when this happened, you're like, yeah, the red camera overheated.
Yeah, they were filming this on a red camera in the woods. It overheated, skipped some frames. It was just coincidental. It looks so bad. Like a speed ramp would have looked better. I'm not sure what they were thinking. We now cut from the mountain trail where you would fight Grand Fisher to downtown, and the Fisher just explodes through a roof. Like a ceiling on a walk area. It just starts wrecking shit. And then the rest of this movie is really dumb fighting.
Yeah.
All the kids are hanging out at Rob's Burgers, which happens to be in this downtown area, and the Grand Fisher throws Ichigo in there, and then Ichigo starts defending against the tentacles. Or actually, no, Ichigo runs up the steps to get in there to defend against the tentacles because the Grand Fisher throws like an object, right?
Yeah, but the Grand Fisher throws like a sign in. He cuts it in half. We don't know how he gets in even. He just cuts it in half, and then Chad catches one half of the sign.
And the second half of the sign, I guess, killed a bunch of kids on the other side of the room. We don't worry about
Yeah,
it.
that's right.
None of the main characters were on that side. Then he says, thanks, Chad. Protect them. And Chad's like, hmm? And then Orihime goes, that was Ichigo. And then Chad goes, hmm. And then Ichigo gets trapped in a bus for the worst fight scene in the movie. As tentacles grab him and he keeps swiping at them, and then he gets dangled in midair, and then the bus is lifted off the ground and it's rotated slowly because the Grand Fisher, I don't know, just likes turning buses with people in them.
I guess, man.
Ishida shows up, lands a really good shot through the windows of the bus at the eye of the Grand Fisher. And then Ichigo, as the Grand Fisher freaks out and lets go of the bus, Ichigo is riding a piece of the bus, flying through the air, lands a blow directly in the head of the Grand Fisher, and the Grand Fisher's corpse hits the ground and starts fading away into the bright light, just like the dude before. And I was like, I swear to God, the two Soul Reaper guys are just going to be behind this effect, because this movie's so crackheaded with how it introduces them into the scene. But no, we get 1 second with Ichigo and Rukia.
Here comes my favorite part. And
then we're like, hey, thanks, Ishida. That was really great of you. And Ishida smiles, and then he gets stabbed through the heart.
Yeah, Ishida is dead.
Renji
You're right. This was also my favorite part of the movie.
just gets stabbed from behind, and everyone's like, what? Why did he do that? This seems completely insane that Renji would do.
It's like, I know that Renji's not supposed to be a good guy at this point, but I don't think he just randomly kill a guy.
Oh, of course. It's great. We just leave him there. We're not going to really talk about Ishida anymore. He's on the ground, presumably dead. And then we have a lot of fight scenes between Renji, Ichigo, and
he had to get owned though, because he got owned in the anime.
I remember the anime when he died.
This is for adults.
I don't even know if there's anything worthwhile to talk about in these fight scenes.
Yeah.
We can talk about how it started to make me fucking physically upset. Because every time, because I don't know if this was just a cheapness thing or what, but every time somebody was about to hit something and your brain goes, oh, this is going to be a heavy, satisfying impact. It's not.
No.
Like when Renji wraps Ichigo in his sword and is like swinging him around above his head and like swings him across this huge like battleground into the roof of a car, and you're like, oh, obviously Ichigo's gonna like smash that car and it's gonna make a loud noise and there's gonna be like feeling. And then Ichigo like lightly bumps off the top and goes,
My favorite part was early on in this fight before Renji uses Zabimaru, is that right? The name of his Zanbakuto?
That sounds right.
yes.
Okay. Before he uses that, he does a cool double spin with his sword, and they both land and Ichigo blocks them and doesn't move at all. We then cut to the next shot where Ichigo's flying through the air.
It's real good.
It's such bad choreography.
There was that really horrible shot where Ichigo like lightly kicks Renji in the back, but it's in slow motion like it's some enormous own.
Yes, that was very cool. Ichigo flying through the air and just kicks his back lightly. Renji, through throwing Ichigo and doing other stuff, explodes some cars, so now there's fire behind Ichigo and he's not owned at all for some reason. And then Renji goes, is he invincible? Yeah, I don't think there's anything.
The background with the fire and stuff was really raw.
It was so raw that Renji said, is he invincible?
He's like, down, drink milk.
Drink milk, get some gains. We haven't talked about Byakuya's hair plastic inserts.
God, don't. Don't.
I blocked them out already.
It's
so go ahead. Can't hurt me.
It's fantastic. Wouldn't you agree, Bob?
Yeah, it looks really great.
Mm-hmm.
His whole hair thing is amazing. His whole costume's good. Definitely not beat out by the stage plays.
Mm-hmm.
This might be some of the worst costuming I've seen. Like, I have more confidence in Channel Awesome than I do the people that made some of these costumes in this.
It's like the Japanese equivalent of like the costumes in Smallville.
Oh, that's real rough.
And yet that's just what it is.
Yeah.
God, his His hair looks so bad.
So after Ichigo relatively owns Renji, Byakuya super owns him a lot, like the anime. He's bleeding out, but he won't give up. He keeps dragging himself towards Byakuya, and he's going to fight him, and eventually he just keeps getting his shit kicked in by Byakuya, and then he grabs Byakuya's leg, and then Rukia does that thing where she yells at him, and she's like, "Dude, stop touching him! Oh my god, I hate you so much. So give me back my powers, cause then you'll forget everything. Not that I care." And that's basically the end of the movie.
Yeah, she can take her powers back, which is weird. Like that.
I mean, that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah.
He got strong enough finally while he's bleeding out on the ground.
Yes, he's fine.
Then we do the funniest shit ever. She takes back her powers successfully. You know, she's no longer wearing like the schoolgirl-ish outfit. She's now wearing a Soul Reaper outfit. We show this by turning on the lighting kit we bought earlier this year and just blotting out the entire screen in whiteness.
No.
And then it's like, oh, we fade back in and she has that outfit. Okay, that's how we showed the transformation because we didn't want to spend the money. That's fine.
I wonder where the geek guy went.
Don't worry about it. So then we cut back to Ichigo's face seeing them leave, and they're about to leave, presumably through a portal. I don't know. I made the joke they were going to Rob's Burgers.
I mean, they didn't have the money for the portal, so they went to Rob's Burgers.
So then we cut to Ichigo's face watching them, and then we do the same fade to brightness that we just did for the transformation.
Why?
And then we cut to him in bed. He wakes up. Everyone's like, "You slept so long," and he's like, "I had a really long dream." And then the dad is doing his usual bit. We cut to school, and no one remembers Rukia. Ichigo's friend tries to do the same joke again. This is the third time where he's like, "Ichigo is dead." Ishida doesn't remember Ichigo, vice versa.
He's
Whatever.
alive, too.
He's
right?
alive. We didn't cover how that happened in the least. We're not going to worry about it, which gave me a stroke when I first saw this because, of course, I hadn't seen the anime. You know, in the anime, there was a bit about like, oh, this guy healed Ichigo, so he survived. You know, they don't try to worry about that at all in this. Ichigo got better. Ishida didn't die. It just happened. Ichigo's flipping through his book, and as he's doing this, Rukia is like, "You're not going to remember anything. You'll forget about the Soul Society, me, nothing, and you'll never remember any of it again." And as he opens his book to the page that says, "Make a scene and you're dead," written by Rukia, she goes, "Probably." And then credits. So, guys, what did you think about Bleach?
No, it was a whole. I was worried we had to rate it now.
Yeah, not yet. That's the end.
What a
Dude.
We gotta do our segments first.
That's what I think.
That's worse. Doing our segments is worse.
Let's do our segments. Will be pretty bad. Dan, who's the best dressed?
Ichigo. In the very last scene when he woke up after a really long dream, his shirt is pretty nice. I wish I had a shirt like that. It seems like it's made from a nice, high-quality material, very casual. It looks nice. Does it look exceptional and stylish? No, but it looks kind of nice. It's a nice shirt. Can you tell this was the part in the movie where for the prior 15 minutes I was sweating and like pissing blood trying to find someone who looked remotely decent?
Yeah, it's not in this movie. Phil, who's the best dressed?
Chad, I refuse to elaborate in any way.
Fair enough. KZ, you go.
Ichigo's dad, he wasn't naked.
Good. I'm surprised someone took it. I'll do you or her. He's the only one who had anything approaching a decent costume.
Yes, he has a costume.
Bob, I forgot he was in the movie until you guys mentioned him again.
Yeah, he went to lay down on the street because he's a hobo, right?
I'm going to lay down in the street and ask to die.
Okay, we have to alter one of these segments. It's normally Dan. Is this worse than the Bleach live action movie?
Uh-oh.
Now it's with context. Is this better or worse than it was before?
Oh, this is so much worse. This was a bad movie before, but it was one of the better anime adaptation movies, just on the merit of being a movie that didn't look like an absolute joke and didn't have a nightmare script.
Right.
Because for people who haven't watched a lot of those, they're really bad.
Yeah, this was so much better than the Full Metal one, but still intensely bad.
Thank you for bringing that up, because I was like, I know there's one other than the 2 different live-action Death Note movies I've seen. God, 3? Oh my God,
yeah.
How many have I seen? Jesus Christ. Anyway, yeah, this is much worse with context, because it does things that it takes for granted things in the anime that it didn't actually do.
Yes. It's
There's
so bad.
no reason to adapt the things that it adapts in here, where it's like, oh, I guess they wanted to do Renji and Ichigo fighting, but there's no point. This thing came out after Bleach left the anime.
This thing has a strong energy of made during season 1 before they knew what happened, instead of after everything was done.
Yeah, but it came like a year after the show got canceled.
Yeah,
Right?
it's like you could have set things up right. You had plenty of time.
And it's really insane because, like, with context, you know how much they fucked up every character.
Yeah.
Like,
they gotta make these humans the final boss, because they don't want to try and animate a Menos Grande.
We were making jokes of the ending shouldn't have been Ichigo getting better or anything else. It should have been he fights Grand Fisher, and then Menos Grande just crushes Chad.
For no reason.
Why do you always have better ideas?
Like, the sky hole opens up, they realize they're not getting money to make a sequel, so Menos Grande just crushes Chad.
I spent 20 minutes afraid they were going to set up a sequel.
Yeah, they kind of did, but like not strongly,
I wish
obviously.
they had, because at least there would have been any excuse for this movie to have as much shit in it as it does.
Yeah, because you don't need all these characters if you're not going to execute on any of them well. Like, obviously all of his schoolmates are ruined, but I'm going to say even Rukia is, like, completely squandered.
Yeah, it feels like they're trying to speedrun to get the Soul Society to do that, because that's a popular thing, and they don't do it.
It's like, imagine you're watching a live-action Yu Yu Hakusho film, and it doesn't even get to, Hiei or Kurama or any of that stuff, but then just burns away all of these other characters. But the thing is, the cast of Yu Yu isn't even that big, so really they're just, we don't need to introduce Kuwabara, do we?
Oh.
You see, I'm just imagining something like that. It's like the Yu Yu Hakusho movie, where it's like you're taking out Rando in the city. Kuwabara isn't in the film. As Rando falls, the Saint Beast show up because fuck you.
30 minutes in, Sensui shows up.
I was thinking, like, the movie adapts the very first arc where he has to beat Kurama, Hiei, and the third guy, who I forget. But for no reason, the Takuros keep showing up to beat his ass.
Yes, that's what it feels like.
Oh, that would be... Can you imagine the budget and scope, right?
No way.
Of the Bleach live-action movie attempting to do the shit the old Toguro does.
So here's the thing. Check this out. You ready?
What?
The big bad of the Yu Yu Hakusho movie that is a lot like this is Toguro's employer. And he spends most of the movie just being like, oh, Toguro's really going to fuck you up, kid.
I love that guy.
You better get those 3 demons, and then they have to write some shit where it's just like, they were previously my clients, my clients, and they got away, so you have to get them for me.
Oh god, are you not even talking about, like, the real one? You're talking about the troll man that's on the first time you see Toguro?
Yes.
Oh my god.
He's talking about the dude animated by Class B Kajupo.
Yes, the Class B
Fucking Tarukane.
Yes.
Yes, no, I mean that guy, not the cool guy. No, I mean Tarukane.
Yeah, not Hot Man.
That's rough, man.
I know. Being the big bad of that movie would be insane, just like this was. Good Christ, is this worse with context?
Yeah, that's why we're trying to escape it and talking about something else.
I have one more special segment.
What?
Worst
Oh, no.
cast.
Oh no, worst cast.
Worst. You have to figure out which one is the absolute worst.
Oh fuck.
Feel.
Yeah.
Who's the worst cast?
I'm gonna have to go with Ichigo. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
the role he got big for was playing a guy who starts every fight by yelling "Space is awesome" at the top of his lungs and throwing his hands into the air. Why would you ever pick that man to play Ichigo?
Yeah,
It's like if you picked a clown.
Johnny on Bosch does a lot to help it, but yeah, it really just doesn't work.
It just creates a bigger disconnect because Johnny Young Bosch is coming out of this guy who isn't emoting or doing facial acting, anything appropriate to that voice.
Yeah. KZ.
Ichigo's dad. I feel like that character is funny because he's highly animated, really charismatic, and stupid. And we got none of that. We got none of that here. We just got casual domestic violence. And I'm drinking. I'll take the smallest bag when we're going here. And it doesn't have that wholesome crackhead energy at all. And you feel like in a lot of Japanese like acting in this and like tokusatsu stuff, you can get that character in here.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But they didn't do that, and that probably disappointed me the most.
Yeah, it was.
Everyone else is just cardboard.
Dan was saying this too, and I was like, well, he looks closer than most of them. That's what I give him.
Yeah, that's the only thing they really had. Oh God, if we go by looks, then Chad's the worst.
I don't know. There's real bad ones.
I don't know.
How about you, Dan?
So real quick, I was gonna say, KZ, you would agree if they had cast Ichigo's dad, because that was gonna be my pick about halfway through this movie. Because I knew Bob was going to spring that segment on us. I didn't know. I was just watching a movie full of a bunch of really poorly cast people, and I'm like, but who's the worst? I feel like if Ichigo's dad was the correct performance to match his energy in the anime, you could slip him into the Yakuza games and he would fit right in.
Yes, absolutely.
Right. But no, he just seems a little abusive. He says stuff that's
and
positive,
not even in a
sometimes.
fun way. It's not even like fun abuse where I could be like, yeah, that's great.
Right.
Like nothing.
I just realized I don't think they even touch on, this is a clinic that they run.
No,
like that doesn't come up at all.
Right. So you're just like, man, this dad doesn't have any positive qualities to him that I can nail down. I'm going to say Rukia. I don't think Rukia, like, some of the problem, it's always hard to divest actor from script, but I think her performance doesn't really get the Rukia tone across.
No.
You don't get the idea that she's having a lot of fun now that she's human. You don't get the extreme sternness that usually comes from Rukia very well. You don't also get the mask slipping. We only get one scene where she tries to be like, greetings, Orihime. That's it. That's the closest you get to delivering on Rukia. And I think her face isn't even that close to Rukia.
There's nothing likable about her in this.
Yeah. She probably is the worst one.
Yeah.
There's so much of this movie about her, and
it falls flat.
It's not done at all right or well.
Man. Hey, Bob.
Yeah.
I got to ask.
What's up?
I know this has nothing to do with this segment, but I look to my left and you know what I see?
What's that?
The Parasite Eve movie. I think that might be better than this. Even though it's terrible.
It's so bad. It's hard to discern. I think this is more enjoyable.
I don't know.
But
I don't know.
Just because it's moving at such a rapid pace, whereas that tends to drag real hard.
Yeah, but Bob, it has that really good tracking shot of her floating down a hospital hallway, and it just looks so stupid. Anyway, that's just all I can think about. Like, anyway,
I guess I gotta choose.
Yeah, Bob. Who's the worst cast?
I'm gonna cheat. I'm gonna say both of his sisters.
Okay,
they're both the farthest thing from anything like the show.
Yes.
So I learned a fun fact.
What's up?
They just got the same voice actress for both sisters.
Yeah, I thought they sound familiar.
Yeah, I looked and it's like just Yuzu and Karin, same person. think like Kaiji Tang is like 2 people in this.
That's
It's like there's 12 characters listed, but they had 2 or 3 people do doubles.
Netflix, always so good at dubbing stuff, you know?
yeah.
It's
really
okay.
should be
They
trusted.
brought back Paul St. Peter to do the hollow voices in this.
I was trying to figure out why they didn't sound like Dr. Claw.
Yeah, because he did a couple of them. I think he did the. I think he might have did the bomb one that feel called Stinko Man.
No, Grant Fisher was Stinko Man because he gave because of the really long and wordy speech he gave
Yeah.
Ichigo about fighting.
Yes, he was trying
Sounded
to
like a
inspire
thing
him.
from Stinko Man.
We made a
Man.
joke about Grant Fisher being a better father figure for Ichigo than his dad.
Remember when Grant Fisher had a character at all?
Hey, it's okay. He's gonna come back in the 7th live-action Bleach movie.
I'm really glad
He's
you brought
dead.
this. I'm really glad you brought this up. Now you see why, having seen this movie and watched that episode with Grant
Oh
Fisher,
my
the 2-parter,
God.
why him saying something like, "Oh, he doesn't come back for 300 more episodes," absolutely murdered me. I'm like, what? What do you mean? They need to kill him, right? Isn't that what they go do at the end of the season?
That's important, right?
Come on, man.
no.
Okay, we have to finish this.
Yeah.
Sure.
What's everyone's final thoughts and their rating on the tightness scale? Oh wait, and let's feel has some insane piece of trivia. I don't know. Do you feel?
Spot
no.
fat on the
Feel
original
he
film.
forgot.
Let me get it. Let me get it. Fuck. This
Fuck.
I forget about this
fucking-
one.
this fucking movie ate all of my thoughts because it's just everything had to be sacrificed to holding on to as much of it as possible.
That's why we shit my pants when they're like, we're just starting. I'm like, I have to sit on this for 2 hours.
In the first chapter of Bleach, certain characters appear on the cover of the chapter that don't appear for hundreds of chapters. Although certain people thought this was foreshadowing, it turned out that Kubo just had a lot of character designs lying around and drew as many of them on the cover as he thought he might potentially use in this series. True or false, KZ?
I'm gonna say false.
Bob.
It's true.
Dan.
True.
KZ is wrong. It is true.
Oh,
Yeah, I was like, that's
Damn
the
it.
trivia I know.
hold on. I'm Googling it. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's some characters in here that will not be showing up for at least a year and a half.
Holy shit.
Yep.
Holy shit. And you don't mean
He
an
literally
original...
said, I had a notebook full of characters from that I had never used. I'm like, I'll use some of these, just put them on the cover.
Good for him.
All right. Now we can get to our final thoughts and tightness scale. Dan, you
25.
can go ahead and go first.
Yeah,
0 to 25.
For people who don't
Sorry.
remember, our tightness scale goes 0 to 25, adding up to a potential max score of 100.
Ooh. So Dan, how tight is this movie?
I'm going to give it a 4.
Yeah, okay.
This movie, it's bad enough when you have no context. Like, it really doesn't do anything for you. All the characters are really flat. No one's characterized well. The soundtrack's bad. The choreography's bad. But with context, it's a million times worse. No one who's ever seen Bleach should watch this. No one who hasn't seen Bleach should watch this. No one should watch this.
Yeah. Feel, how tight is this movie?
1. I don't even think if we get to a point where we're in filler and 5 episodes happen where nothing happens, that it'll be worse than this.
Oh, God, you might be right.
See, here's...
There will be at least one funny joke, and it will seem like Bleach. You'll watch it and go, this is Bleach. It's bad Bleach, but it's Bleach.
This thing isn't a movie. It's just
Then what was it?
it's just a collection of scenes and characters from the manga that feels like jangling keys in front of a baby. Or you remember this, right? You know what this is, right? You know what this is. It's like what people who like get viciously angry at Marvel and Star Wars think those are in their head.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was the longest digital SNL short I've ever seen. Just from a visual standpoint.
I can't believe they made a sequel, Disney's Mulan, available now on
at the low price of $90.
It'll be
you
free
have to-
in 2 months.
You have to pay to get it out of the vault.
God. Yeah, this is dire. The only reason I didn't give it a lower score, I think this is sane, okay?
Yeah.
Bob,
What's up?
I feel like this is one of the better anime movie adaptations I've seen. Though the latter two Rurouni Kenshin films are better. In fact, I would say all three kind of are.
All three of the Kenshin films are better, for sure.
One of them looks absolutely terrible.
Yeah, no, it does, but
And-
it's still better.
And
It's a story.
here's the real thing, though. I think you were right to question Full Metal. I think Full Metal's movie is worse.
Yeah, I think that's the only anime movie I can think of off the top of my head.
I have to rewatch the Death
Death
Note
Notes.
ones because, man, the original Japanese Death Note one was such garbage when I watched it. Like, what was that, 14 years ago?
Yeah, no, the Death Note movie's in that one. Okay, so it just hangs out really close
it's
to
I
all
like how
those.
you gave it a 4 because you've been to the garbage dump.
Yes. Please look forward to our upcoming series. It's like anime in real life.
Oh no!
Oh, no!
I guess I have to rate this movie now. I'm going to give it a 3 to accommodate for a chance of something going horribly wrong later.
So this episode of Bleach is just 22 minutes of the ending song for the first 12 episodes.
Yeah, there's one
No, just
season
the
of filler
note.
I haven't watched. I don't know what's there.
For 2 hours. It's just that last note. It's just holding the last note for 2 hours. Even when we don't have to hear that song anymore, it's gonna come up in every episode.
Yeah.
It's so powerfully terrible.
KZ, close this out. How tight was this?
Well, first, it was very loose. It was incredibly loose. This film, they miscast everyone. Shit almost never looks interesting. I laughed, I guess, at how they tried to handle things, how crackheaded it was, but it's an insult to the source material they're going for. There's no appeal to this at all. So I'm giving it a 0.
Yeah, that's fair.
That's fair.
I would rather watch Bleach filler that accomplishes nothing than this.
Well, at a total sum of 8 points, that means it's a 10th as good as the last 5 episodes we watched.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that sounds right.
let me run down the tightness scale so far. Episode 1 through 5, 64. Episode 6 through 10, 79. Episode 11 through 15, 79. Episode 16 through 20, 81. Live action movie 8. We crashed by 73 points on the tightness scale.
It seems like it's not even possible, right?
It's-
That's not even the same scale, right?
This is so bad. Fucking Netflix is going to detention.
This is so bad. Our chart making software is breaking and
Yeah.
won't put it on the chart.
I see that. I'm like, it's not showing a line.
I'm like, okay, it didn't include that data range in the looks at the axes. No, it's in there. Why is it not working?
Oh,
This is too funny.
No-
What a fucking garbage pit.
Jesus.
It's making me reevaluate the Dragon Ball movies we've watched.
This score
Yeah.
lines up more with those is hilarious when that scale doesn't go nearly as high.
That is really funny. Okay, let's see
If we
this
had to
does-
do a 1 to 7, I'd give this a -3.
God, yeah, I know, right? You would feel bad giving this a 1 out of 7.
our bar graph.
Yeah, I got it to work. It's fucking hilarious. and yet really accurate. God. Man, imagine if the music in this was good, or the costume design, or the character acting, or the script.
These costumes are so bad,
or
man.
the choreography. Imagine if any of this was good.
That'd be real neat.
It's all. At least we're going back to the anime again.
Yeah,
right?
No, I feel invincible. Nothing in the anime anytime soon can hurt me as much as watching this.
Yeah, there's no way that anything.
The fact that even if it was shitty filler, you'd still like it more.
It could pull a Space Ghost Coast to Coast looping episode joke where I have to watch the same 8 minutes 3 times, and I would still rate it higher than this movie.
It could be like bad setup filler episode, then halfway in just put in scenes from The Return of Cooler, and you'd still rate it higher.
Yes. Oof.
The first Broly movie was about this long and was still better.
Yes.
Oh, this is bad.
I wish anyone had a plan as good as the Broly.
We need to go.
I think
we don't need to talk about how bad their plan is.
I think
Yeah,
the live action
that one will have been out by now.
I think the live action Death Note might be better than this. Like the American one.
I mean, yeah, probably.
It's bad, but it's not 8 out of 100 bad.
I don't know. They're both so bad and so bad at portraying their.
When we inevitably do that for cursed content, we'll have to make that a question.
Yeah.
This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by our lordly executive producers: Esme, Nicholas Cameron, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Danny Richardson, Red Blaze 27, We Fall Now, and the Ghost of Adam Admar implores you to play more Saga. Thank you very much to our executive producers. And also these guys. Soar on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots and become an executive producer today.